Hey everybody, and welcome back to It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Today we're going to be showing you how to make Swiss steak. Cue the music. Alright, well thanks a lot for joining us today. If this is your first time joining us, please do me a favor, head down, hit that subscribe button right there in the corner, and then hit that notification bell so you can be notified each and every time I upload new content. Alright, you clicked on this video to have me show you how to make a Swiss steak. So let's head down and see what our ingredients are for this. We're going to start out here with about 1.5 pounds of top round. We're going to have about 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper, 1 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, 1 large onion, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 stalks of celery, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 1 can of diced tomatoes, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of oregano, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and 1.5 cups of beef broth. We've got a little bit of prep to do before we can start cooking. Let's head on into that. Alright, so I'm going to do our vegetables up here first before we do our meat. But I'm going to just take our large onion and I want to just cut thin slices out of it, like this. We're just going to put those into our bowl. Our garlic, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cut really thin slices like that, and we're going to put those right into the bowl as well. And then our celery, I'm just going to leave it whole. I'm not going to dice it up at all. I'm just going to cut into very thin slices. And you'll see why when we cook it and put it in with our sauce. And when we go to plate it and present it, you'll see. I'll hopefully remember and explain what we got going on there with what we do with our prep right now and how it affects the dish in the presentation stage. So I'll go ahead and put all this into our bowl as well. Let's transition into our meat. I have taken the flour, the salt and the pepper, and I just mixed it all up in a little pie pan or square casserole dish. Just enough so we can dredge this. Now I've got about 1.5 pounds. I'm going to cut these into about 4 steaks. And then I'm going to do each one separately. I don't have a needler, but I do have a nice, better get this off here. I do have a nice little hammer that's got the needles in it. And basically, all you want to do here is just beat it and just tenderize it. You want to break up those corpuscles in the tissue. And I'm not going to do all of this for you on the video, but that's the general idea. And then we're just going to take, and we're going to coat it with the flour. But we just set it in the flour, cover it all with flour, dredging it. I'm just going to get done doing all these, put them into the flour, and then we're going to head over to our cooking area and get ready to do our dish. Alright, as we always do, we show the mise en place. I've got our pan, our utensils, all the ingredients that we have prepped, and we are ready to go. We even have a plate for when we pull the steaks out of the oil. So I'm going to go ahead and place this back on our tripod. Our shot is set. Let's go ahead and start cooking. Turn on our heat, add our oil, and when that oil starts to get shimmery, we will add the meat. You want to make sure you're hitting that oil when it's hot because you don't want it to kind of sit in there and get all mushy. Shake off your excess flour. There we go. We got a little bit of cooking action going on there. It is bubbling. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 2 at a time. And basically all you want to do here is you want to just get this side browned up really nice, get a nice color crust on that side of the beef. About 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes on each side. We are going to take the beef out of there, put it on a plate, move on to our next step. Okay, we have got our steaks all done with the browning part of it, so I've got them off to a plate on the side. Now I'm going to add our vegetables that we cut up, and I did turn the heat down just a little bit. We just want to get these, saute these Just real flash in the oil that we had. Go about 2 minutes on these vegetables. All right, then we're going to add our tablespoon of tomato paste in there. Just mix that all up. Combine it well with the onions, celery, and garlic. And go with our Worcestershire sauce. Same thing, just mix it up. And let's add our paprika, the oregano. Stir that up as well. Let's add our can of tomatoes. Our bay leaf in there. Stir it all up. I got to tell you, this smells fantastic. Looks pretty nice too. That's all mixed up. And we're just going to add our beef broth. Kind of bring this up to temp. Let it start to boil a little bit. I'm going to put the steaks back in here. Make sure that you submerge them in the sauce that you've made. Make sure everything's covered up nice. I'm going to bring this to a nice boil, which is important because you want it to be, what we're going to do is we're going to cover it and put it in the oven, but you want to make sure that this is boiling and hot before you cover it, or else you're going to have to take extra time for that oven to heat it up and get it up to where you want it to be. So you want to make sure it's hot, hot, hot before you put it into the oven. And we know by boiling it, once we start seeing the bubbles in here, we know it's hot. We'll turn the heat off, throw our lid on it, and put it into the oven at 350 for about an hour and a half, depending how hard you want to beat those steaks up. The thinner they are, the faster they cook. We're at about 1/4 inch, which is about just right. Now we got some bubble action going on the outside here. So we are getting close. Yep, we're starting to get some bubble action in there. It's coming up from underneath the steaks. So we know the heat is underneath the steaks. So what I'm going to do now, shut off our heat, put our lid on. I'm going to throw this in the oven for an hour and a half. All right, there we go. Let's see what it looks like. An hour and a half in the oven. Oh yeah, vegetables are broken down. Made a nice gravy. I got the steak right there. They shrunk a little bit, which is good news. That means they're going to be fall apart tender. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these out, plate them up with our sides. We are going to take some incredible photos of it for social media. We're going to lay those pictures into the timeline with some really groovy music. And then we're going to come back and we are going to give this a taste. Enjoy the pictures and enjoy the music. Very beautiful food. It smells fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and cut into this and we're going to give this a taste. Oh, knife goes right through it. I don't even need that knife. There's that piece. It's still very, very hot. I'm going to cut that in half. All I did was smash it against the plate, fell apart. Perfect done at 1.5 hours, 350. Here's the test, as soon as it cools off. Melt in your mouth. Very good flavor. Some of these onions have that garlic right there. Now, we were talking about this in the beginning of the show when we were doing the prep on the vegetables, how we just sliced the onions like that. A lot of people call for a dice of these onions, and then when you cook it all, that breaks down. You really can't see the ingredients in there except for the tomatoes. I like the onions to be they're a star player in this dish. I want them to stand out, and as you can see, they do. So if you like your onions and you want them to be seen, that's great. The celery the same way. If the ingredients are called for in the recipe, sometimes I like the other ingredients to stand out as well, not just the main player, which is the beef. All right, we made Swiss steak. Thank you for watching It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Make sure you like this channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment down below and then share this with everybody that you know. Take care of yourselves. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.